Have you ever tried to record a podcast with two USB microphones connected to your computer? Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. For years, content creators and podcasters have faced this frustrating little limitation. You can't simply plug two USB mics into your computer and have them both work separately. Until now. Beautiful people of planet Earth, introducing the Zoom PodTrak P2, the world's first audio interface that lets you connect and record two separate USB microphones simultaneously. And it will record each of the tracks separately, and from what Zoom tells us, even a phone call from your guest or co-host onto an SD card. This is the breakthrough that podcasters, live streamers, and content creators have been waiting for. Or is it? The PodTrak P2 isn't just another audio interface. It's a nice little mobile podcasting studio that you can use in a more streamlined way. It's featuring two USB-A ports for your microphones, two headphone outputs for perfect monitoring, built-in AI noise reduction, and professional-grade 24-bit audio recording capability. All in a compact design that fits right here in the palm of your hand. What makes this P2 seriously next level is how it solves the dual USB microphone problem, while adding professional audio processing that turns really any space into a broadcast quality studio. We're going to go through all of the audio processing and those features later in this video. So please be sure to check out the timestamps below if you need to get right to the section that you need. Don't forget to hit subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, all that stuff. You'll get notified when we do more reviews like this on the channel. From intimate podcasts to complex musical productions, Zoom's audio arsenal has never failed me across years of professional demands. While creators waste thousands on unreliable gear, industry insiders have been using Zoom's bulletproof recorders for years. I love the Zoom H6, built like a tank, the P4, the H4, which I've had for forever, and the P8 as well. It's very similar to the Rodecaster Pro as well. Just a really great multifaceted interfaces, super reliable, and I love all of these. All of these have reviews and videos available on this channel, so make sure you check this out. Let's start with these dual USB mic inputs. So whether you're using, according to Zoom, a Blue Yeti, HyperX Quadcast, a Shure MV7, or any of these very popular USB microphones, you can plug them both in, and the P2 recognizes them as separate channels with independent level control. So you're going to know whether or not your USB microphone is compatible when you plug it in, and you'll see this. So I'll unplug what I have, which is the Shure MV7i, and then you'll see when you know you have a good mic that works with this thing, is compatible, you plug it in, you'll see it flash. And there you go. That tells me that this is going. I've got it muted, but you can hear right now, or you can see right now. Boom, you probably are hearing me tap as well, and now you're hearing both microphones in the audio. So I'm going to go ahead and mute that. So now we're muted, and you're just hearing the one microphone that I've got. This microphone is a Fifine Amplitank that I'm using. I have a bunch of USB microphones that I've reviewed on this channel, and this was really fun to plug in and hear how this works with any of these. Each microphone has its own dedicated input level knob, as you can see right here, and you'll be able to hear as I'm talking and I'm turning this down, you're hearing my voice go down. Obviously, you want to get it at a level to where if you're speaking the loudest you're going to speak, you're probably hitting maybe that level, but never go above that level. So I probably was a little hot there to begin with. But it also has two headphone inputs. I would say headphone outputs, I should say. The one thing that I would say, it's not the one thing, there's a few things that I'm going to say are cons related to this device. Even though we have two different headphone outputs, it's essentially a splitter because you've just got one volume knob for what you're hearing in your headphones for local monitoring. So you don't have separate headphone outputs here. So what you hear is coming out into both of the sets of headphones, just so you know. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the noise reduction. I think that's something that I thought was really cool. It's like having your own little tiny sound engineer working behind the scenes. Basically, I'm going to push the button and you hold it for 3 seconds. It identifies and eliminates the background noise like computer fans, air conditioners, or maybe room echo. I've got a fairly well-treated room, but there is some room noise. You're probably used to it by now if you've got headphones on. But when I'm quiet, you'll hear the room noise, and then you'll especially hear it because it'll go away when I hold down the AI noise reduction. So now's the point in time where you put on your headphones, and we're going to demonstrate using the AI noise reduction on the Fifine Amplitank microphone. So here you go. I'm going to be quiet. You'll be able to hear the room noise. And then I'm going to hit the button and you'll hear the room noise just go away. So you should have heard the room noise go away. The one thing that I am noticing, and it's not on every single microphone, is you hear my voice. The microphone, my voice seems to be affected a certain way. So this noise reduction is taking out that room noise, but it's also affecting the sound of my voice. So I would be, unless you absolutely need to use this, in my opinion, you may want to be very judicious in it. Also, we're going to go through the tone and the compression. This says comp, it's short for compression. And of course the mute as well, which is, you know what a mute is. But I do like the fact that the mute button doesn't make any sound when you hit it, which is important. And the one thing you got to realize is if you use tone and you use compression, you may want to undo noise reduction first and then do your noise reduction at the very end. It's like the last thing in the chain, so to speak, for all of this. So I'm going to go ahead and undo noise reduction. And now you hear my voice got a little bit crispy. It's a little more natural, but there is more room noise going on that you might not be able to hear if the noise reduction was on. So I'm going to start with tone. And the thing that I noticed about tone, and we'll do this with a few other mics, it really just adds a lot of boomy low end to the voice. And there's no way to adjust it. It's like you get the tone or you don't get the tone, which is another, I would say, con to this. There's no way to adjust it. But I'm going to go ahead and hit tone, and then you'll hear how this works. I'm just going to go ahead and say something. You'll be able to hear how it affects it. So there you go. Now that's the sound of the tone. You hear immediately the low end, but it feels got lifted. So maybe 200 hertz range, amplified it a little bit more, I would say, low mid range, which is good for voice. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn it off so you can hear how that worked into that. It'll be different for different mics because there's different mics and you're a different person. You have a different voice than me. And then the compression, this is something personally I would not use. And you'll hear why. Basically, if you don't understand what compression does, it's going to take something where if your voice gets a little bit quieter, it will pull your voice up. And if your voice gets too loud, it will squash it down. It will compress it down. So it keeps your voice in a range, and compression will make if you get too loud, it'll pump your voice down, so to speak, as it adjusts. So I'm going to go ahead and hit compression. It's probably going to get a bit louder, and it did right there as I hit compression. So now this is going to get the more delicate things in your voice. You may or may not like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit tone. And then now what you're getting is both the lower boomy tone and the compression from that. Personally, I don't like the sound of that much compression on my voice. And I would love to be able to adjust that tone personally and get it to where it's a little less boomy. But I'm going to go ahead and hold down the noise reduction. I'm going to get quiet, and I'm going to hold down noise reduction so you can hear how that sounds, and then we'll hear how the voice sounds afterwards. You can hear that room. Now I'm going to hit the button. Completely pulled out the room noise. I will say, after the noise reduction, I don't mind as much the compression and the tone on my voice, but I'm going to go ahead and take these off, and the compression is off. So I got quieter for sure, but my levels are still fine. And then if I hit tone, now we're back here, and then I'm going to undo AI noise reduction. I'll be honest, what I like best is the noise reduction off, the compression off, and the tone off. That's just my take on it. The mute button we're going to go ahead and hit, and you can hear how as I talk you really don't hear the mute button being pressed and then pressed again, just because I think it's important for audio recording for that. And you never heard me hit the button there. So that's that particular microphone. I do have this other microphone plugged in. This is the Shure MV7i. I've got that plugged in with USB into this. You're not seeing a register because I have the mute button on. So I'm going to mute this mic. I'm going to pull this mic back on. And now I'm speaking into the Shure MV7i. We don't have any of the effects on the onboard processing here from the Zoom P2. It's a different mic. It's going to sound different. It can tell already it has more low end, and I'm going to dial back the level some. So I was a little bit hot, and I want to get this down. So when I'm talking at my loudest, it's barely touching that orange, and that's a little bit more. So sorry if that was a little hot for everyone right there. All right, so we're going to do the same thing with this microphone. And I'm going to turn up my headphones a little bit because I got a little bit quieter than I was used to. Let's hear how this noise reduction sounds right here. I'm going to be quiet. Okay, this mic takes out more of my room sound than the other mic, but I'm going to go ahead and hit this. I still heard that sound go out, and you can hear my voice is a little affected after that AI noise reduction. So it takes a little getting used to there. I'm going to hit the tone, so you should hear a low end boost there. And there's the tone right there. That is definite. That's too much low end for me personally. You may think differently. It may sound great on your voice, but there's really only one and done on that. And here's the compression. And I did get louder there, and doesn't sound bad, I don't think, but probably too much compression for me. And again, it's just on and off with those settings. While I've got this up, I'll show you the functions of this. I have an SD card. It can hold an SD card up to 1 terabyte. And so it's a micro SD, and you could just put let me hold this so that you can see the micro SD. Very easy to slide in. And this is great because even though I have this plugged into my computer, and that's how you're able to hear this right now, you're able to record things locally with both microphones. And according to Zoom, also somebody that can call in as a guest. We'll talk about that in a second. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unmute the second microphone, and I'm going to record something, and we're going to be able to hear the recordings. I'm going to give you examples of those. And let's go ahead and record. All right, welcome to the PodTrak P2 podcast. My name is Chris Stone, and I am Chris Stone, and we're happy that you're here going through our demo. Yes, Chris, what do you think so far of the PodTrak P2? Chris, saying PodTrak P2 causes a lot of plosives, and so far we're able to not have plosives because we know what we're doing with mic technique. All right, I think that's fine. I'm done being goofy. So you can pause and play as well. I'm going to go ahead and hit this and stop, and so those have been recorded onto the SD card. And so now I think is a good time for me to switch over to the PodTrak P2 editor software. Now this is the PodTrak P2 editing software. This is going to tell you how much space you've got left on your SD card. I've got this plugged right into the computer. The remaining record time, which is always nice to know. We've got 110 hours to be able to record on this. I have it set to multi-track recording. If you just wanted to get a recording of everything together and just be able to have that mixed and you don't want to worry about it, you could do that. I like to do multi-track because I like to pull down separate tracks and be able to edit them separately in case somebody coughs or you want to adjust something for a particular track and not affect the others. The audio F mode, we want multi-track as well. And then, of course, mix minus for somebody that is coming in as a call. And we'll talk, about how that works. Basically, like if mix minus means if somebody is calling that they don't hear their voice slapping back in their ear when they talk, which is completely and totally annoying and has been an issue for years, but they've got this built into this particular device. So if you want to interview a remote guest, it absolutely works if you're plugged into your computer because you're hearing that person on the computer. So if you're it works like just any other computer interface, right? So if you're using StreamYard or eCamm or Riverside or something like that, it works like a computer interface. So you've got two people and you're interviewing somebody and they're on a computer, they will be recorded as well, though that track will be recorded here as well. I should mention that as of the recording of this video, I've experienced some issues initiating and successfully recording phone calls using my iPhone 13 with the P2. I have it's a lightning out and it's a 13, and I did have a lightning cable to USB-C cable, and I was able to plug that into the back. It definitely is a data transfer cable, so it's the right type of cable, and I was not able to get it to work. I have reached out to Zoom and their customer service, and I'm hoping to get an answer for you. And this could be specific to my setup, so your experience may vary. I definitely will update this in the comments if I do find a solution, but for now, just be aware that this feature may require some troubleshooting for you. I've got alkaline batteries in the back of the device, which I didn't mention earlier. It takes 4 AA batteries. I've got it plugged into the wall, so I don't need to worry about sucking out the battery power while I'm using it currently. But if you want to take it on the road and you wanted to utilize that, I would suggest you get one of these, which is the SCU-20, which is the case that will hold this and maybe a few other things as well, just because it's plastic, and I wouldn't just throw it in the bag by itself without having this particular device. And so the link is below in the description as well. And then the auto power off is always a good failsafe to save your batteries. If you never want it to turn off, no matter what, you can click never, but we have that on. I can't imagine using this for longer than 10 hours, but that's the deal. If you need to format your SD card, it's there. And if you want to go and hit reset, very simple thing in terms of if you're going to have a call, you're going to need to figure out, you need to have the mix minus set a certain way. The other thing I want to make mention of is there are some issues with compatibility with certain microphones. For example, I'm sure many of you have heard of this microphone. This is the Blue Yeti microphone. But as you can see, when I go here and I plug in the Blue Yeti with the provided USB cable, I don't get that flash identifying that this is a compatible microphone. Therefore, I haven't been able to use that. And this was the same case with another one of my favorite microphones. Now, this is an XLR and a USB microphone. I have multiple Samson Q2U microphones, which I love to use. But I was not able to get this to work either when I plugged this in as well. One thing I would check if you do get the PodTrak P2 is if you go to the Zoom Corp website and go to the P2 section, you will see an area for you to be able to download the P2 editor software on Mac or Windows, and a lot of the documents that you would need, quick tours, operation manuals, and it also shows you right here the compatible microphones that they've tested through. Again, as of this date, and let's expand this out, the microphones that they have tested through. A lot of popular microphones here. Elgato Wave 3 they've tested through, and that works. HyperX, a lot of these are popular microphones from Rode, Sennheiser, Shure as well, Shure MV7. And so these are all the microphones that have been tested and are confirmed to work with P2 as of the date of this recording. So you may want to go to zoomcorp.com, look up P2, and make sure that your microphone is in fact compatible with the P2. So the PodTrak P2 isn't just another audio gadget. It really can be a great solution to the problems creators have struggled with for years. Number one, it saves time eliminating these complex audio setups. You can pop it into that case, throw it into your bag, and really take it anywhere. If your other person just has a USB mic and you just have a USB mic, really simple to hook it up, record locally, record on someone's computer using an interface. It saves you money by working with USB microphones that you may already own. And it saves your content by ensuring professional sound quality every time. One thing I forgot to mention is that it records and saves every 10 seconds. So like if you start your recording and then all of a sudden like it's something happens or whatever, it records every 10 seconds. And so you're really only going to ever lose at any one given time like 10 seconds worth of content. So really, whether you're starting your first podcast or growing your live streaming audience or looking to simplify your professional workflow, this may be the audio interface that finally makes dual USB recording possible. That's obviously the pros. The cons are, I really wish I was able to demonstrate how to bring a guest with a phone onto the device. I was really interested in doing that, and we hopefully will be able to get an update from Zoom and get that working so that we can demonstrate that in time. I really wish it was a little bit more robust. I feel like I want to be delicate with it as much as possible. And it's small and it's plastic. And secondly, it would be nice to have maybe a dual headphone mix so that your guest that's there with you locally, we can adjust their voice, our voice. Some people don't like to hear their voice at all. And so in order to do that, separate headphone mixes would be great. So other than that, I think for the price point and what you get and solving that dual USB microphone issue, I think this could be an absolute game changer for you. And as always, we hope this video helps you.